In the future, we will fly over traffic, live to 150, and travel the world at the touch of a button. Technology is pushing from every direction, getting faster with each passing second. Prepare yourself. The future is closer than you think. As future cities grow, so do the dangers of climate change.
More than half of the population are living in cities worldwide, and that is forecast to go up to as much as 75% over the next 30 years.
8 of the 10 largest cities in the world are located on the coastline. And nearly half of the entire world's population lives within 90 miles of the sea.
In the current world crisis that we're in, especially climate change, we need to rethink cities from scratch.
But what if we could build cities that ride the rising tides?
So we have to find new solutions, not fighting against the water, but living with the water. The house you see is a floating house. This house can go up and down with the water.
But homes like this are just the beginning. Koen Olthijs wants to build entire cities that float, using building blocks of foam slabs encased in a concrete shell. Putting them together, he can create platforms as large as 400,000 square feet. That's the size of 2 city blocks.
That gives us a lot of very stable, large-scale foundations on which you can do almost anything. You can build towers on it, apartments, put trees on it. We're really floating right now. It feels really stable.
Floating homes will combine into floating neighborhoods, which can detach and float to a new area whenever they like.
Floating roads, floating car parks, floating airports.
Koen's architecture firm plans to build whole sections of movable cities.
Build it in one place and after 10 years maybe relocate it to another part of the city.
In fact, whole cities can decide to weigh anchor and drift off in search of more appealing climates.
This is really going to happen.
Even existing cities will find ways to escape the limitations of land. Instead of merely scraping the sky, we'll be building entire avenues in it, suspending massive structures in the air. The first glimmer of what that might look like is the Chinese television tower CCTV in Beijing, arguably the world's most audacious building.
In many ways, the design is an anti-skyscraper. It really proclaimed very clearly not to follow the race for height, to dominate the skyline by being the tallest.
At over 4 million square feet, the CCTV building will be the largest office building in the world, pushing the Pentagon to number 2.
The building will house 10,000 permanent staff and receive several thousand visitors daily, which really makes it a building at the scale of a small city.
The CCTV building is big, but big was never the point. The point was to create vast areas of usable space that do not take up space on the ground. But this is not simply a sky bridge. It is an 11-story building hanging 500 feet in the air.
Here you can see the overhang of the building, a cantilever that projects out 74 meters in 162 meters height, with up to 11 stories on top.
2 main towers lean 10 degrees on a diagonal. During early construction, Chinese officials called it the dangerous building.
There was indeed great concerns at the beginning of this project, kind of public disbelief if a building like that could really stand up. It stands on 2 big raft slabs, 2 concrete footings that in themselves are anchored by 1,400 piles that go 33 meters into the ground. Maybe one of the most important contributions that the building could make is to go a lot further and to imagine new possibilities for people to inhabit space.